Hello? Hello. I think we are live. Alright. It is 15 UTC. This means we are up for our second ever stream in here, Abstraction Cup. This is probably also gonna be one of the most anticipated streams that every single player is probably gonna be watching. So, obviously we're gonna have our seeding results. After the qualifiers round, we are going to reveal what you guys have performed and what you guys are rewarded right here, right now, for the next following hour and a half, probably. And after that, it's going to be our round of 64 Mappool showcase. So it's going to be a very exciting time. Hype it up. I cannot even speak properly. But anyways, today, I'm going to be a commentator today, Popy, and alongside me, it's going to be Leon. Say hello.
Hello, it is I, Leon, here joined by Popy. Thank you so much for the introduction. And yeah, like you said, we have a very long stream to go. Entire qualifier seeding results with the showcase right after. And yeah, just overall easily one of the most stacked tournament, probably the most stacked tournament we have this year. And without any further delay, we are just gonna hop right into the results. Starting from, unfortunately, the very last team, number 87, is going to be Commentated here. Like, a valiant effort by these players. Actually, I think it was a EXM squad playing the whole thing. But unfortunately, they were placed last over here.
Kind of what it is when you're still relatively new to tournaments. Maybe you're not very familiar with difficult maps. So we're gonna try to skim through the lower seeds first of all, so we don't waste too much time. So moving on, I suppose. You see at our 86th seed, Billy Gaming. You can still see players are still struggling quite a bit on a lot of the maps. So yeah, it's just not quite the skill level.
Yeah, these maps are designed to test even the best of the best players. So generally, 5 digits really just won't be able to play most of these maps. Again, good effort, good sportsmanship, but they unfortunately will be placed 86 here. Moving on, we'll have 85.
85. BNTL.
I mean, again, same thing. Good average, I would say. Like, they showed up and played everything. Oh man, like, and especially you see like Ellen 1 here, like they will tank almost the entire lower half of the tournament because it's very difficult to play, especially on non-tournament players.
Yeah, this qualifiers map has been so difficult, and a lot of players seem to struggle quite a bit. But we'll see how the top players perform in maybe approximately an hour and more. So stay tuned for that. Let's move on to our 84th seed, Ratatouille, or whatever it's pronounced.
Ratatouille. We see the rats. Unfortunately, the rat cannot cook up a good enough score to qualify in this tournament. Again, we still are in the 5-digit territory, and again, valiant effort. Like, they got 863 on the high rate, so it's pretty alright. Still not fit for tournaments this caliber yet.
Seeding wise, still around 80 overall across all maps, so good effort, like you said. Let's move on to 83rd. Drum roll. We love Holy Crystal.
Whatever the Holy Crystal is, it didn't help them here. Again, just like previous teams, these 5 digits giving their best shot in this tournament and just aren't able to handle the sheer difficulty of this map pool. Getting close to 800k on the Rice one, so pretty alright on that front.
Maybe it's an S rank? I don't know, but yeah. You do see some slightly higher and higher scores across the teams now. You can see more A ranks, 2 S rank chokes possibly across some of the maps. So let's move on to the 82nd seed, which is gonna be... I'm not even gonna say this name, bro.
It's something mania. Again, the scores
there's
are
just a lot
higher.
of team names in this tournament that is just a little bit interesting. Anyways, you can go on.
It is very interesting. Again, 5 digits, giving the a good shot, best shots here. 839k on the hybrid one. Like easily, hybrid one is, I would say, the least physical out of the entire map pool. So you will see a lot of the lower seeded players getting like higher scores on the hybrid one, Rise one, or stage 1, stage 4 if you want to get into that technicality of wording. But still, again, good effort. Let us move on.
first. Boom. Osu, Mania Addict, and Nana B. Seems like the name is not shown. But they're
the name is too long.
LN1, it seems.
Actually, yeah. That is a good point, Alan. This is I would say the first anomaly amongst our showcase here. Like that, Alan won, especially from 5 digits, is really good score actually. It's very, very difficult to play.
Yeah, I think this is our first top 80 seed on one of the maps. The rest is still pretty average 5-digit scores that you see in the previous seats as well, around 700k to 800k on the early game stages, and then probably B rank range on the more physical picks. Again, good effort. Maps are hard, we get it. I probably also cannot play some of them, but yeah. Seat 80, the G Revolution.
G Revolution. Now, okay, this is UEC, our first 4-digit player here, ranked 3000, but actually these scores are all played by the same player, that one fat kid. That is his name.
Yeah, I think the
unfortunate
Files man did not play in this, if I remember correctly. Unfortunately, the scores on the right are all played by the one fat kid, and it's not going to be enough.
Not gonna be enough, but good effort again. Like you see the hybrid. The hybrid is reaching 900k, or we are reaching there in terms of score, and we are still just only the first 10 teams. So good try, and
solid.
That we will move on to the next team.
The 70s, we have Polgles at 79.
This one, actually, yeah, I just mentioned the hybrid one, right? We just broke through the 900,000 score barrier. You have that 903k, number 77. And the other scores, they are all reaching the top 80 rank, like 81, 80, 78, 78. So this is still not enough to qualify, unfortunately. Again, once again, good effort from these players.
Effort, but not gonna be enough. Some few top 80 seats, but not gonna be quite there. Let's move on now. 78. My Pop. It's like my name, but it's okay. But anyways, we see a lot of 70 placements on a lot of the maps, and with LN1 being at 67th as well, the first top 70 we've seen.
Yeah, actually, like you see the average on the lower end of 70, nearing 80, and then getting that rank, that score on LN1, actually almost tying their density score is pretty good, especially coming from the mid to lower 4-digit players. Like people are just
it's like pretty well-rounded scores on the LN hybrid side. It's just a little bit of struggling on the Rise maps, or Rise physical maps, that it's not going to be quite there for them to qualify, unfortunately, but good effort, like we always say. Mappool is hard, so 77 seed we go, shall we?
We shall.
77th, we're going to see We Suck at Act, and they actually don't suck at Act that much, with 942k on stage 1.
If you're here, you don't suck at Act. Let's be real. And yeah, like
that's
you mentioned, 942. That's probably the highest score we've seen so far since we started streaming. Like amazing effort. And then they didn't do too bad on the harder maps like the Rexy and then the Tiebreaker as well. So it's a good average from them, but still, once again, not enough to qualify in this tournament.
Do you see them breaking through 800k? I think this is the first time we've seen, I could be wrong, but I think this is the first time we see 800k score on stage 2. But Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
unfortunately not gonna be enough still.
Yeah, it's not.
Is it? I forgot. Let's move on to 76th. Let's take a look.
76.
Lost a game of Goldfish. I guess they lost a game of Goldfish, and
I hope they win it.
hope they win.
And here,
The hybrid one score is quite remarkable, actually.
it is quite remarkable. 941, like the mid 900,000 score. And then overall, once again, like we've been saying, good effort, good average. They came and they showed up, just once again not enough for this tournament. If you need to be able to like get those 900Ks to even stand a chance in this kind of tournament.
Fortunately, the score range they have is not going to be enough, so let's move on to our 75th seed now. It's going to be Electric Boogaloo 2. Where's the first one then? Anyways.
This one, oh, that is a that is a nice score. 930,000 on the dot here.
Yeah,
And
we
after
see.
that,
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a clean score.
yeah, and then
9300.
we see the same trend. Like Rice one is quite high score, 945, and then everything else just tends to be very difficult for the lower seeded players, like high 5 digit and low 4 digits to get used to, because it's so difficult, so tournament kind of mapping.
Maps like stage 6 have been really difficult. There's a lot of weird. I remember Handstream and Anchor sections that just trip a lot of these lower seeded players. Yeah.
Stage 6 absolutely demolishing the entire competition, I would say.
Yeah. For a jump stream pick, it's surprising to see a lot of players struggle a bit. But anyways, we'll see how they perform. 74th seed now. Let's take a look. Drum roll. Where's the next one? Oh, worst time zones.
Don't we love time zones?
Yeah, time zone.
What we don't love is seeing, unfortunately, people not qualifying. Again, good average. Once again, really good average, but still, by the mid 4-digit players, low 4 digits, just not enough, not enough at all to qualify.
Yeah. It's a nice stage 2 score at around seed 70, but the rest is also around the 70 range. Actually, wait, no. Hybrid 1 has 68. That's pretty good as well.
Oh no, the streamer changed.
Wait, no, you switched. No, you okay. Never mind.
Wait,
it's fine.
Okay.
we can switch now then.
Yeah, we can switch to 73 instead. Here we have
Triple T.
Okay, yeah. Triple T.
This is what I mean by
we do not know what
names.
T means, so let us look at the scores instead. And going to scores, we are actually seeing top 70 placements now. We've seen 2 of them actually. So one on the L Intensity, the stage 5, and then on stage 3 as well.
Some nice 900k scores across Hybrid 1 or stage 3 and LN2 there. So nicely done. Same case, stage 1 is 900 something, and then they struggle a bit more on stage 2 and stage 6, the other Rice map. So, not gonna be enough for this tournament to qualify at least. But
yeah,
good effort. Best of luck to other tournaments if they're gonna be playing. But yeah, next one, 72nd. Composite went on lasting. Dude, it's hard to pronounce team names, man.
what is on lasting? You know what? Never mind. Let us move to the scores. Played by some. Okay. We apologize for not knowing a lot of these names. Like, these are a lot of obscure names that we do not know. We wish we could do a better job on that front.
I mean, oh, it kind of it's hard. It's hard to say names, but what's easy to say is figuring out they have pretty good score on Rise 1. Almost 960k. 67
yeah.
seed there.
That is pretty good. That's the highest score we've seen so far. And then again, Hybrid 1, the hybrid map will always follow along with the highest score. And then, yeah, you see the density as well. Stage 5, 907k. So these teams are catching up. They are doing slightly better than the previous teams we've seen. But still not enough, unfortunately.
Good work to these two players. Let's move on to 71st. This is, I believe, is going to be where we get our first qualifying seed in one of the maps, not overall, but in one of the maps. And that map in question is actually Stage 6.
Yeah, so good point by you. Unfortunately, this team is still not qualifying, but we see the first qualifying score on the most dense, or I would say stamina intensive map. Almost 900,000 K as well.
The lower seed teams tend to struggle a lot on Stage 6, but not for this team. And instead, they're going to be it's going to be the only map for them to qualify, which, you know, it is still an accomplishment. 61st on total is dead is quite impressive for a 70-ish seed.
Yeah, so when you have that physicality, like you have the chance to use that physicality and improve every other aspect, your consistency, your accuracy. So best of luck to these players. Hope we see them in the future, somewhere out there in the tournament sphere. But with that, we will be moving on to number 70.
Top 70, we're going to see Nitro Pirates?
What are these names?
Pirates, I believe that's the pronunciation. And
yeah, let's just
you can
look at
see
the score.
pretty good Stage 6 score there. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the same as the last team. Their Rise scores are pretty good, right? The Rise 2, Rise 3, Stage 2 and Stage 6, pretty high up there, I would say. In terms of compared to the rest of the map. Like, they obviously struggle a lot on the long note and Tiebreaker, and that just dragged down their overall score. One thing there's something we forgot to mention from the start. The placement is done by average score, not by average rank. So if that is not cleared up.
Yeah, this is quite important, actually. Keep this in mind. Average score instead of average rank. This might be the game decider for the first few places, not foreshadowing, but anyways.
Indeed.
Moving on to seat 69.
69, we have
Stick Sag.
What are the thought processes behind these names?
It's fine. It's fine.
It's so funny.
It's fine. But yeah, we see a top 60 seed on Hybrid, actually. Stage 3 having this top 50 is remarkable. I think this is the first top 60 that we see.
Yeah, and you'll be right. And actually, if you take a look, their Allens and Tiebreaker, they're all on the rank 60-something, the top 70 range. It's just their overall rise, unfortunately, brought down the average score a lot, I would say. Especially that Stage 6, that definitely tanked a lot. So really unfortunate for this team.
Yeah, good work though. Some unfortunate shows and misses that just cost them not qualifying. 68, here we go. Let's take a look at the next one, which is going to be Fort Naj Tosi.
And then there is
English.
Yeah. And this one they have like almost perfect average rank, I would say. But again, like we say, it's about the score here actually. So they are, unfortunately, that Stage 6 again, taking down yet another team, and that Allen one, or Stage 4, sorry. So that one really dragging down the overall score to just not being able to qualify for the tournament.
Yeah, that's about it for C6. I'm looking at the chat. Everyone's redeeming tags.
I'm gonna pretend.
Anyways,
let's move on.
C67. Let's take a look at the next one.
Yeah, this is
Coughing Babies.
Coughing Babies.
What a poetic team name for C67. Anyways,
incredibly poetic. And if we
Did you see 900k scores on stage 6 in this one?
I don't think we have. We have seen one that is close to 900k, but this one is definitely past that. So very good on that front, and with that, their overall rise is pretty good, all above 900. Then we have 955. TB as well doing really good. But just unfortunately, the LNs tanking their overall score, average score, by a lot here.
Yeah, had they had slightly more consistency on LNs, maybe they could have qualified, but unfortunately they're down here at seat 67. Let's move on though to seat 66. It's gonna be Pibble. Team name we can pronounce.
Yeah, and this one they got 55 on hybrid, really good. But the highlight here is 55 on the LN1 as well. Really good.
You don't see a lot of teams play that well on L1s in these lower seed side, but Pippo is gonna be the first exception in these not qualifying teams, having top 60 on LN1 or stage 4 and almost qualifying on the LN density as well, aka stage 5 at 65th. It's the Rise maps that made them tank a little bit, and it's just barely not enough to get into seat 64 or above.
The Rise 2, Rise 3, the extremely physical maps really tanking down their scores. Like really good effort by these two players here, but unfortunately they are just missing out on the qualification. With that, we will move on to 65 here.
This is going to be the unfortunate team that is one seed off from qualifying.
Yeah, the unfortunate tale for these two players here. And you look at their average rank, they are pretty good. All are above 70, the lowest being 69, and it's the hybrid one as well. But again, average score is the name of the game here. And they are LN1 and again, stage 6, Rise 3 tanking their score quite a bit. Not able to play the physicality enough. And that very awkward LN1 qualifier.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of unfortunate circumstances on some of the stages, just made them barely not get it in. Unfortunate, but definitely very good work across these two players. And with that said, we are going to move on to the 64 teams that are going to be moving on to the next bracket stage of this tournament. So, a swing and a insert Miss SFX, I guess. And yeah, this is going to be our first qualifying team with pretty remarkable scores across the LN hybrid side, with all of them being 60th and 58th on the TV.
Yeah, that is true. Like same with most teams we've seen, the LN1 and the Stamina taking a hit. But still, the LN1 is close to literally edging 900,000 scores. That's really good. And then the density, and then everything else is just done so well. Definitely good job by these players. Just barely qualifying in this tournament, like out of an average score of 6,000, higher than the past team. Yeah.
Work for them. I mean, qualifying in this tournament is quite an accomplishment for already, at least in my eyes. So,
and we can just move on to the next team here. And then we have Full Rise something, yeah.
Right,
once again, good average by these players, and just well done overall. The LN1 tanking the score a bit, but still, congratulations for them.
Yes, seat 57 in Stage 6 is for their highest seed across the 7 maps. And 932k on Toe that is actually higher than their score on Stage 2, which is supposedly easier, but I suppose some people have different skill sets.
I guess we should go faster a bit. We are yapping a bit.
Oh yeah, we should actually. We're a little bit slow.
Here. Apologies for that.
60 seconds. Go, 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 go.
So here we have Team Makiba here. Makiba here.
Yeah.
In the same case with every other team, they are going really good average overall, but no specific score to stand out of everything. So they'll be placed here in the lower seedings. And with that, we can move on to number 61 here.
Yeah, let's go. There's not much there. It's just around 50 to 60. Let's take a look at 61st, which is going to be. Where's 61st, bro? Is it gone? It's not. Let's take a look.
Yeah, let's move on to number 61 here.
Move. Walla 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 walla. There we go. Took a bit of time, but Special Lovers, it's just gonna be. The only remarkable part is gonna be stage 6. Once again, we are entering a part where players have good stage 6 scores, and they're trying to get their physical into the game, and it worked out. They qualified. So, good work on them. Maybe a little bit lower on the LN side, but still pretty solid stuff across these two players, Julio and Spongy Bit. But like we said, we have to speed up, so seat 60 now.
Yeah, seat 60, we got Kotak's Bazi here. And good average. Their rise scores definitely being a cut above the rest here, like 978, 960. Amazing scores. And other than that, nothing too much to pinpoint here. We'll see how these two players will do in the tournament. With that, we will move on to 59.
59 is going to be washed. I wonder if they are actually washed or not, and I feel like they aren't because their stage 1 is absolutely phenomenal. 987k. I think this is the first time that we see above 980k, and it's 44th at 987.8k. It's also crazy to note that 987k is only 44th, but that's their good score right there. They also did pretty well on the LN side, actually hitting around seat 50-ish as well, but just a little bit lower on the hybrid side. But all things considered, pretty good stuff on Washed from Dolan and JLOL. But yeah, moving on to seat 58.
Yeah, moving to 58, we got Deltong Dan. Oh, I can't believe I said that name. But yeah, looking at their scores here, good average of within 50 ranks. And that hybrid score actually, 980k, definitely a cut above their other scores here. Struggling a little bit on the stage 6, as most players do here. Other than that, they got pretty good balance amongst their other scores. So good luck to these players moving forward. And we will move forward to Team 57.
57th seat is going to be ban yourself. Well, don't ban yourself, I guess, but
Definitely don't ban yourself.
But we're gonna see another 980k score on stage 1 with 49th seed there, as well as a pretty good solid score on the LNs as well with 932k, 53rd, and 972k almost on LN2, with some nice 970k on hybrid as well. And I think the most important one would be the stage 7, which they got almost 970k with 45 seed. So best of luck. It's just a little bit of the late game stuff that they have tanked a little bit, but all things considered, good work on them. Congrats on qualifying. Moving on to 56 seed.
Yeah, moving to 56, we have Where's the Lights? Having a very nice banner, and with that, very nice scores. And their scores, they have actually one of the really good averages. The LN's doing really well, seating 50, the tiebreaker as well, and then the hybrid. Just once again, as always, the stage 6 tanking the overall score, overall seeding. So yeah, we will see how they manage when it comes to this late game. And yeah, fun fact, like Babil, I remember Babil's name being like a flashlight player, if I'm not mistaken. So very interesting playstyle, my fellow flashlight players. And then with that,
First fun fact.
yeah,
Okay.
and then Sky.
55th, let's take a look.
Yeah, let's move on. 55th here.
We chat GPT, give me a team name, and then it just gets cut off. I actually see a very solid Rise and hybrid scores here. We actually can see gonna see a 36th seed performance on the hybrid side. It's just their Ellens are tanking them a little bit back at barely qualifying. It's kind of compensated for them to get this final seed. It's like the average of seed 30 and seed 60, right? So with a few more nice scores on the right side with 40 something place. That's about it for this team. I hope ChatGPT did give you guys a proper name. Anyways, moving on to 54th.
Yeah, moving on to 54, we got Team They are kind of confused. But what they aren't confused is setting some pretty good scores here. Like their Rise, especially that Rise one, 989k. This is close to 990, probably the first one we've seen so far. And it's very scary that close to 990 is still only rank 40. So extremely tight competitions on like these earlier game maps. And then everything else is not too notable. They got good Rise game, as I mentioned, Rise 3 here. And that good work on qualifying and getting this 54th seed. Moving on, we will go to seed 53.
I am not even gonna try to pronounce his name. It's a bunch of numbers. Wait, no, we can call it LG. LG got more well-rounded scores actually overall instead of what we saw in the previous teams, with all the teams being at, all the maps being at around 50 seeds. They stand out a little bit more on stage 7 and stage 5 with top 50 or under 50. With around 970 to 960k there, so pretty nice scores across all 7 maps. Some very well-rounded scores, and yeah, best of luck to these two players. So 52nd seed we go.
There we go, we got Antumai, which I probably butchered that name. And going to their scores here, they got again pretty good average. Like actually their Ellens are pretty cracked here. 961, 965 here, getting really good scores. And then their hybrid as well following suit, just struggling a little bit on the later game Rise maps, 957, 914. But still, very promising scores, very promising team here. So best of luck to them. Then here we move on to 51st.
51st, we are close to top 50, and this is not top 50, but this is 51st, 2 slimy exams. We're gonna see actually quite a good score on stage 6.
Wow.
This is, I think, our first top 30 seed on one of the maps, with 985k being 27 from Toho is Dead, which is stage 6. It is just their LN or stage 4, stage 5 that's tanking their rankings quite a bit, as well as some more of the non-Rise picks. And actually their stage 1 is also a little bit lower because of the fact that it's accuracy game. If you miss like once, you do get punished quite a bit. So the late game-ish Rise is pretty solid though. That's what got their almost top 50 seed. So best of luck to these two players. Yeah, top 50 we go.
Top 50 we go. Number 50 is going to be... We are cooked. And this might be the case for most team here, but still, they cook for sure actually. They got a pretty good average. And actually our first 990k score in the showcase so far on that stage 1 here, placing 35th. Just overall very good Rise and the hybrid game. Just LN1 and then their TB struggling just a little bit behind the rest of the competition here. But yeah, overall good run by them. And we will move on to 49th.
Let's go. 49. We have Bana Nguyen, maybe. And pretty well-rounded scores across all the stages. It's the Elwens and hybrids that are a little bit lower for them, but their Rise is really standing out there. Again, another 990k we'll see in this team here. and maybe some chokes on the other two Rice maps, but still almost getting 980k is very remarkable. And their TD or stage 7 is also pretty solid with 963k as well at 47 on that map. So I think they can be a pretty well-rounded team to not be scoffed off at. So best of luck to BC1 and Fanashop. Moving on to 48th now.
Moving forward, the 8, we have Unit and Arrow no eaters. So don't eat them, okay? We have Nubo and Foblitz here, and they cooked up some pretty great scores again. Like, we are seeing teams to have more scores that will stand out, especially that Rice one, 993.7. Extremely high on that Rice map, and still only placing 25th. Then you got 986 on the hybrid. So overall has that early game consistency, just a bit lackluster on the later game, the harder Rice map and the tiebreaker. So again, good, really good scores here. Some a bit behind than others. So best of luck to this team. Like, we'll see, it'll be interesting to see the matches, how they utilize their skill sets. But that's it. We will move on to 47 here.
It's gonna be Rompen Kamavoidia, maybe. And pretty well on the scores, unlike the team that we just saw with a pretty solid stage 1 score. We are gonna see more well-rounded scores, except a little bit standing out would be stage 2 and LN2, or stage 2 and stage 5, which is the second Rice and second LN map. They both having top 40 there with 977k and 981k respectively. Pretty solid scores overall. It's just their stage 1 tanking them a little bit, but other than that, it's pretty normal, well-rounded scores overall. Yeah. Best of luck to Mahio and Chocolat Fangirl. It's pretty good stuff. And 46, we're gonna see.
And C in D, we got Team Yippee. Very nice name by Medium Kick and Asuma Toki. Shout out Medium Kick. So both of these players, what did they get? They got, again, pretty good average. We got like average of like 970-ish K. Good rice scores, good hybrid, good TV. And yeah, this is an interesting team. They just overall have a good average. No team that, no scores standing out too much. So they will have quite an advantage going forward. Like, it's really hard to pinpoint what they're good or bad at. Yeah, but that's it for this team. Good scores. Let's move on to 45 here.
45. Frog. Okay. Frog has a pretty solid and pretty strong LN and accuracy game here. 31st on LN1 and 34th on LN2 with 33rd on the hybrid map. And for the as a cherry on top, they have 26th on the stage 1. 993k is 26th. Think about this, but still, 993k is pretty solid for an early game ACK map like this. So it's just their late game-ish things are going to be a little bit struggle. They just struggle a little bit more on the late game-ish side. But you know, round up 64 is going to be an easy map too, so hopefully they won't have too much of a problem there.
Just to insert myself here before we move on. Like, those two players, like especially Tonos, very notable players, very insane in early games. So we're starting to be at the point where we see these crazy people in the lower to mid seeds, so very scary. And with that, moving on, we got Momichis and oh my god, yeah, a team. You got a team.
I got you.
Thanks, bud. And with that, we got again really good average. The hybrid and Rice one standing out. Actually, hold on, yeah, they got pretty good. 980,000 scores higher. And then just again the stage 6 and the LN1 just tanking their scores a lot. So yet another team that is pretty good in the early mid game, just unable to struggle in the hold their front on the later game stuff. So definitely another team to watch out in the early game. Good luck,
Kind of
and let us
tell.
move on.
Let's move on first. You can kind of tell how each team is an early game team or a late game team. So you can try
Yeah,
to take
definitely.
advantage of that if you're against them. Anyways, Inorganic is going to be our 43rd seed team with a more well-rounded scores except for Hybrid 1. Their Rise is pretty solid, 90, 30 something, 40 something. Their Stage 7 is also 30th, and their L1s and Hybrids maybe a tiny bit lower, especially on the Hybrid side with 62nd. But it's only the Hybrid, the Stage 3 map that's tanking their score a little bit. Other than that, their scores are pretty solid overall. 43rd. Yeah. Anything add on? Or we can go.
Yep, let us move on to 52.
Go.
Here we got no. We got 5, 4, 3,
It's
2,
bound to
1.
happen.
Robot Evan always coming back to bite me in the back. And with that, we will look at their scores here. We got actually, hold on, look at their long notes. We have 964 LN1, and we got almost a 990 on the density. So extremely high on the LN hybrid and even the tiebreaker to an extent. Just unfortunately struggling behind on the rise. So just like Popy said earlier, you can tell what kind of team this is based on their scores here on specific stages. So best of luck to not just some guy and Jose here. And let us move on to 41st team.
41st is going to be WCMO from Alec and Erosa. Okay, whatever. Anyways, they have a more well-rounded scores overall, except for maybe a little bit lower on stage 7. But their rise is pretty solid with around 20 something to 30 something, and Ellens are staying at the 40 something ish placement. Just maybe struggling a little bit on LN1 or stage 4, and as well as stage 7. But other than that, I think you guys can look out for this team's rise components. I think they can be pretty good at it. But yeah, that's 41st done.
That's 41st. Let's move on to 40th. We got Nahi Blocks, Team Nahi Blocks. And this team, a bit of an opposite of the other team. They are extremely good on this later game stuff. Like you see that TV, and then you see that LN score. Just overall pretty good. Other than that, nothing much to stand out from their Rise 1, close to 990. But their other Rise is among the mid-range so far, so definitely a more LN hybrid oriented team. We will see how they will fare in the upcoming map pools, how they will face this unorthodox kind of pooling style we got going. And with that, we'll move on to team 39 here.
Almost entering the top half of this of the qualifying team, so you're gonna be getting more excited. You should get more excited because the scores are gonna get crazier and crazier. Anyways, here's Party Starters at 39th. With their Hybrid 1 or Stage 3 score is gonna be the most remarkable for them at almost 990k. I think this is the first time we see like almost 990k on the hybrid side of things, with some solid supporting scores as well, and on the Rise and LN components, as well as the mini TV at 40 something. But yeah, other than that, pretty well rounded. It's just their Hybrid 1 is standing out for them.
Yeah, amazing hybrid really. And with that, we'll move on to 38, team 38 here. We got Pro Gaming. I'm gonna call you Pro Gaming. You don't get to change that.
Something Pro Gaming.
And looking at their scores here, their scores are pretty good. They really are Pro Gaming. They are stage 6 and their LN and their hybrid. They got some really high 980k scores all round. Just like their LN1, then their tiebreaker just lacking behind a little bit, not able to catch up overall. So that just drags down the overall score average for this team. Good effort, valiant effort by them. And we'll move on to 37th.
737. Here we go. It's gonna be Rizky Fan Club. I didn't butcher that name at all. Nice. And you can see pretty well-rounded scores on the right side, and then L1s are actually also doing pretty good as well. It's a tiny bit, like a tad bit lower on hybrid or stage 3. Stage 3 is a very techy hybrid, right? So it's kind of understandable to see people maybe choke a little bit on that map. So kind of happens that you might tank a little bit of rank on maps like Professional Vengeance. So Seed 50 on there, but other than that, still pretty well-rounded scores. When you're facing against well-rounded teams, you might struggle to figure out what maps to pick, so be careful against a risky fan club with Mighty Tech and One Bite.
Definitely, totally agree. And with that, we'll move on to the next team, Team Seed number 36 here.
36.
Gonna be Arroz con Pipsha. I do not know what that means. And going to their scores here, actually their scores, okay, this is kind of insane. All their scores are 980 and above, except for one. And that is gonna be the very mind block L1 once again. So this is very interesting balance we see here. These team like mid to low 3 digits, sorry. Like these players, they are really capable of playing these maps. They just need the extra push throughout this tournament. So yeah, this is probably one of the best balances we have seen so far in the teams. So nice treat to see. So
L1 is like,
yep.
L1 is like, I want to add on, like L1 is a kind of tourney only kind of L1. You don't really see stage 4 maps like stage 4 in like regular ranked maps. So like if you're relatively new to tournaments, Father's Black Hole might be a more weird map for you, and it could be very easy to mind block as well. So it's understandable that a lot of teams might be struggling more on stage 4 than anything. So I'm gonna put that here.
Yeah,
it's kind of the trend that you'll see in the higher seed as well. So
yep, and we can move on to 35 here.
35. Me neither.
Me
What's
neither.
the response? It's a sentence, but there's no context anyways.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Oh, I can go ahead? Okay, alright. Wait, is it my turn? It's my turn. Okay. Their scores are pretty dispersed actually. One of them are they're either 20 something or they're 40 something, with the exception of TV. Like they're L1 4. I mean not L1 4, stage 4. Like I said, if you are comfortable with tournament LNs, you get rewarded with higher seed on LNs. And here's the 24th score on stage 4 as well. And then some nice supporting scores on the late game-ish Rise as well, 28th on both Rise 2 and Rise 3. Just a little bit tanking on the Rise stage 1 ACK map. Maybe a little bit of a choke there, unfortunate, but it happens. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, really good players. That L1 absolutely disgusting. Best of luck, and we'll move on to Team 34 here. We are something, yes. And let us look at their scores and not that team name. We have again another 990 on stage 1. It's going to be the trend you see. As you can tell, like just barely getting 990 is only number 39. Okay, it's only number 39. So extremely tight competition. And overall, once again, almost everything else is 980k and above. They're struggling on the LN1 once again. So good average, great team, great players here. We'll see how they fare in the upcoming pools. Definitely will get good shots on the early to mid game. With that, we'll move on to number 33rd team.
Seed 33 is going to be Robeats, which is going to be pretty interesting. Robeats is going to be a more well-rounded team overall. And as the perfect middle seed, I think this can represent what mid qualifying seeds would look like. 980 something on the rise to 990 on stage 1, and then 970 to 980k on LN hybrids. This is like the most textbook standard seeding or like qualifier scores that you would see probably.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
and that's gonna be
everything's very balanced.
Yeah, it's really, really balanced. Like this team has amazing average. And moving on to the 32nd team here. We are
this is the team Ro64 is gonna face as well.
Yeah, that is a nice fun fact. So definitely take notes. 32nd team, we got Lost Furry Oroba. Can't believe I said that. And their team average actually is a bit here and there. Their tiebreaker, their late game stuff generally, tiebreaker, density, then their stage 6 extremely good. Just unfortunately that Rise 1 and then their hybrid is, while still good, just not able to sharpshoot as much. And that kind of lack of consistency, accuracy will bring down the overall score and the overall ranking. So good, really good scores by them. We'll see how they fare in the upcoming rounds. And then with that, we will move on to 31st team.
31, they are going to face seed 34, which I forgot what seed 34 is already, but Terracotta Yo Brevhooks is going to be our 31st seed team. And pretty remarkable scores is going to be on the LN side and specifically on stage 2 as well. So it's the Rice that's tanking them a little bit, except for stage 2 for some reason. But yeah, I think their physical jump stream might be a bit more lacking, but anything else is just pretty solid with almost 990k on density. 983k on stage 4 is still pretty solid, and almost 991k on hybrid 1 as well. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, extremely crazy scores on everything else, just like you mentioned before, that stamina and the tiebreaker tanking just a bit here. Best of luck to this team, upcoming rounds once again, and we'll move on to team 30 here. 30, we got the FC Chokers, Regis and VSD, my boys. And looking at their scores here, like obviously we got some pretty high scores, 990Ks here, 3 of them actually. And then the Rice also doing not too bad, just the tiebreaker, and once again Allen 1 taking yet another victim, dragging down that overall score here. Like here onwards we are going to see like a lot of good players, a lot of familiar names for some people. Yeah, they will easily fare in the early to mid game. We'll see how they go. And moving on, we'll go to 29.
About seed 30. Seed 29 is going to be a pretty interesting one. You guys might be surprised by this one, but
yeah,
you know, when you think about it harder, it might make a little bit more sense. Because you can tell they have a very, very dispersed skill set here. And obviously we all know who Invadian Saragi is. Their Rice is immaculate. 993, 995, 996. I don't even know what to talk about.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
The problem is their LNs are a bit lacking at 40 something on TB and 30 something on LNs. That's probably a surprise to all of you guys, but then you realize their Rice is going to be very strong. So despite the possibly lower seed than what most people expect, their Rice is going to be so strong that it's still going to be quite threatening.
Yeah,
that's my prediction at least.
Totally agree. I do want to mention they are this low because once again you see their tiebreaker, and once again the LN1 taking yet another victim, just dragging down that overall score by a lot, just a ton. But like you mentioned, like this is just gonna be a crazy team from start to end as long as they can survive the early game.
That's how it is. And with the fact that it's because the system for seeding is going to be average score, when one of the maps is much lower than the others, it can be quite punishing as well. And this is gonna be one of the examples.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on to C28, I think.
Yep. To C28, we got Larkane Asada by. We mentioned a crazy Rice team. Okay, we mentioned a crazy Rice team. Here we got Dev and Tevalkin with an immaculate, crazy, jaw-dropping 997 across the board on the Rice category here. So like absolutely crazy, but everything else just unfortunately took a big hit. Hybrid TB and is still pretty good, just the Allen really tanking down their overall score here. So definitely, like the last team, a good place of attack for players facing them. But the Rice, just avoid Rice. Don't fight Rice on them.
Just avoid Rice, yeah. Kind of like one of the few teams that you would see in the middle C range that are probably more scary than the others because of the fact that they are a very specialized team, and for these two teams, it's obviously gonna be the Rice teams. So, yeah, that's about it for C28. Best of luck to Tevalkin and Dev, and moving on to C27, which is gonna be Yuri Stars. We have Yuri now, okay. But this team is a very well-rounded team as well. You can see all the scores on Rice are so solid as well. 993, 998, I mean 988 and 991 with 20-something overall. And like even the other maps, it's another like textbook qualifier scores with Hybrid 1 being a little bit higher as well, 990k. And then the L1 and Hybrid TV side, it's 30x, which, you know, pretty solid stuff for this team here. It's a very well-rounded team, so best of luck.
Best of luck to them. Very good average scores here, and we'll move on to C26 here. 26. Yeah, I'll just let the streamer change. We got the Sound of Leo with the member Yellow and Soundy, and this again, this is so mind-boggling. Like, we got yet another crazy Rice team, and not even just Rice, like their hybrid and their density also, density 991k, then the obvious Rice being absolutely crazy 995 and 997. But just again, the Allen 1 and Tiebreaker tanking down this overall average score by a lot, and that results them being all the way down to 26.
Their Rice is insane though, but even their density is actually pretty good as well, so should we move on?
Yeah, let's move on. Move on to 25th here.
25th. Yeah, well, they don't have a name. Get creative. I guess get a name. These names are so random anyways. That is a stage 1 score and a half. 19th place is only... I should say 995k is only 19th place, but still.
Absolutely crazy.
It's a pretty good score. But other than that, it's pretty well-rounded, all things considered, at 30-something or 20-something on the other maps. 983, 988, 989, 976, 989, 981. It's another very textbook, well-rounded qualifier scores. It's just stage 1, they're standing out a little bit. That's probably why they're getting the higher seed here. So their early game might be quite scary, especially on the right side. So you can take note of that.
Definitely. There's a lot of notes to be taken. Yeah, don't worry. All the stats and all will be publicly available after the stream. But we are here in the present, and we should move on to Team 24 here. Here we got acting. Let's go, my boys. Niku and Tose here with actually, again, another textbook great average score, average balance of skill sets, I would say. Like even the LN1 and just the LN1 and the stamina not tanking as much. Just compared to the rest of the competition, there isn't any scores that sharpshoot as much. Like you see 991, like, oh, that is high, but no, that is still number 34 in this tournament. So this team, great tournament experience, great players, great average scores, definitely can do a lot of damage in the early to mid game. Yeah, with that, we can move on to 23rd if you got nothing to add.
Nothing. And 23rd. This team has it's another very well-rounded team scores. I mean, scores across the 7 maps as well. What's standing out a little bit is the TV. I think this is the first time we see a 990k on stage 7. Yeah, I think it is. And I think this is the highest score that we've seen on Hybrid 1 as well, 992.0k. This is pretty good stuff. And it's just the Rise components that's a little bit more behind. So, best of luck to Sigma boys as well. I have to say the team name anyways, but
yeah. Best of luck to these people.
Oh, you have to say this name now.
Yeah, we got the Disciples of Triple T, whatever Triple T it means. We got Lasting Diarrhea and New Dragon. With actually, this is gonna be like, if you can just judge from the ranks here, you have a more Elden and Hybrid oriented team actually. Like that Hybrid 994k, absolutely bonkers, having that early game accuracy consistency, and then the Ellens as well. 988 on that Paturaj map, extremely great Ellen control. Just the Rice dragging their overall team score down. Yeah, so again, another specialized team. Yeah.
You need to know 988k is like really good for stage 4, so.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Definitely the team that can do a lot of damage. Can definitely go to the mid game, even go to the late game if they play their cards right. With that, we are going to move to team 21.
1T1, what is 9 plus 10? It's Chicken Bread. We're gonna see a 993k on stage 3.
Shout out J.
Wow, and 990k. Yeah, Fear and J-Li are the players here. 990k on stage 7 is also very remarkable. It's kind of what you expect, right? J-Li being one of the most traditional LN hybrid players with around top 15 seats on all the LNs and hybrids. Their Rise is tanking just a tiny bit, but stage 6 do being like that. You just choke and then you tank quite a lot of score. It kind of happens, but it's still very solid stuff.
Totally agree. Just absolutely crazy and stacked tournament. With that, we can move to 20th team here. So reaching very close to reaching the top seeded teams here. And here we got 2 guys, obviously. We got Machalate and Polygon here. And look, just glancing at their scores, you see 4 990Ks actually. Extremely high. We are seeing 996 on the first stage, and then everything else is just extremely high. Yeah, I don't know why are they seated this low. The competition is just that scary.
So a lot of these like perfect 998, 999k scores are still double digits on these scores, which is just insane. This is a textbook clean run, almost, except for stage 2 maybe. It's qualifier results in 2 guys.
Yeah, with that, we can just move on to the 19 seed here.
19 seed is gonna be Paco's the Pip Sash. Boom. It's gonna be Snow and Dark's team here. It's another very well-rounded team across all 7 stages, with stage 7 being the one that stands out a little bit with 990,000. I mean, that's a crazy score.
Yeah.
That's hard to do in lobby. Perfect 990k, but other than that, their accuracy scores on Rise and LNs, it's just very average. It's again stage 4 that's tanking just a tiny bit, but everyone does that anyways, so.
Yeah, before we talk about the next team, we're at a point where each team will have like crazy good, well-rounded, but like just 1 or 2 maps just doing a little bit worse, but that's enough to drag down the entire score. And we can see that with the next team moving on, team number 18 here.
Yeah, seed 18.
Yeah, we
See
got
more.
dragons. Dragons.
Oh my god.
And this is the Russian duo Kapupa Rins, right? With crazy rice scores actually. Actually just crazy everything. Their hybrids and Ellen density doing well. Just lackluster a bit once again on the LN1 and the tiebreaker. Other than that, again, just very textbook rice, not just rice team, sorry, just very good overall team here.
Yeah, it may be a little bit lower in terms of ranking on stage 2, but it's still 990k, so
Yeah, it's still
pretty
nice.
solid stuff across these two players. Moving on to seed 17. I don't know why I said it like that. Anyways, here's the. I mean, that is the teammate that I'm looking for. Anyways, 996k on Toho is probably the spotlight of this team's performance, and yet it is only seed 13. This game is crazy. Oh my god.
Absolutely. Yeah, like actually, yeah, 996 on that stamina, and then you go over and look at the tiebreaker. They got 987. This team just has everything covered actually. Like they got early game, late game rise covered. They just can do anything you throw at them. Definitely can go the distance here.
Yeah, it's a very well-rounded team. It's pretty strong across pulsing and new zero, I believe. It's good luck to the. So, seed 16 we go. Let's
Seed
go.
16
Top
we go.
16.
Yep.
Top 16.
Going to the top seeded players here, and here we got Miku Logic Paint S Plus by Astel and Mini Egg. Some pretty good names, good players, and that reflects on their scores because what the heck are those scores? We got 4993, yeah, 4990k scores, pretty high at that. Sorry, 5. And then we have the stamina map and the tiebreaker being just a little bit behind. But just being a little bit behind is enough to land you all the way down to 16. Actually crazy competitions at the top here.
Stage 4 is probably what got their seats so high. Like, look at that number 6 right there. And with also the fact that because all of the teams tend to struggle a bit more on stage 4 when it's about the score average. When your score on stage 4 is much higher, that means your overall average score is also going to be much higher, and that gives them seed 16. So
yeah,
congratulations on top quarter of the qualifying seats. And if you have nothing else to add on, we can move on to 15 seed, which is Star Blazing.
Indeed, we got Ariel and Unitori here. Like you want to start about, like, what do you notice about this team here?
I mean, this team it's another very well-rounded team. It's just the stage 1. It's just stage 1, except for stage 1. Without sharpshooting stage 1, they could have like if they have sharp shot stage 1, I should say, they could have gotten a much higher seed as well. That's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah, agree. Like even being on 987 on the LN1, like it is still among the top of the top in terms of scoring and placement. So just unfortunate not being able to sharpshoot, like you mentioned. Best of luck to this team, and we will move on to the 14th seed here.
14th seed, let's go. No idea, and I indeed have no idea how they got 995k on stage 5. What?
God help, actually. Like we have 6 out of 6 maps here, 990k and above. Just once again, the LN tanking up quite a bit actually this time, 983.
Everything else is above 990, which is insane to think about.
Yeah, just absolutely insane. Like the Rise picks also like 993, and then we got 995 on the first map. It is still just edging the top seeded placements. Like
Yeah,
people just ratio these maps really, really well here.
Yeah, the accuracy game is really coming in play now in these top seeds. Best of luck to Spanner, Dude, and Glowbug. Moving on to 13th seed. It's gonna be user 114514. I searched the user, it does not exist. I don't know what 114514 means. But Vayne and I believe Paradigmatic Owl is Foamelt, who is a Chinese MWC player.
Yeah, you'll be right with that. And then Vayne, shout out Vayne, not a really known player, but actually a GBC winner here. So these Chinese players definitely got a lot to show. And here we have almost all scores 990k actually.
Yeah,
Like
it's just another very textbook high seed score. It's 5 maps above 990k, but then it's Stage 4 and Stage 7, they're slightly lower. It's just under 990k. It might as well be 990k, so it's still very solid across all these scores. Yeah.
Yep, I agree with that. Just very textbook scary team going forward. Like, we don't need to say that anymore. We can just move on to number 12 here.
12 is going to be Femturners and some random.
Yeah, and that random is not random at all. We got Sator, Heavy Turners here. And this team actually, again, very, very high placement on the Rise. Rise 1, Rise 2, just a bit lackluster on the stamina. And then everything else is just 990k pretty much. Extremely well-rounded. They got everything balanced, can cover each other.
It's a little bit of a choke on Stage 6, but other than that, it's pretty solid. Maybe they could have done a slightly better job on Stage 3. Maybe that can get them get slightly higher seed as well, but seed 12 is still pretty solid. 992, almost 993k on Stage 7 is also very remarkable. But with that, we are going to go to the 11th seed.
Yep, 11th seed.
QQ Robot.
Yep, QQ Robot. You want to do the honors?
Okay. Cappuccino and Velos, I think. These two players are probably quite known. Cappuccino is also known as nickname. They just changed their, nickname. So.
Yeah, that is true.
But you can see Stage 6 being quite the notable score here at seat 6 with 97k, as well as Stage 3 with number 7 as well. And then 5k. And then 5k on Hybrid Tech is pretty crazy. And it's still number 7, but number 7 is pretty good. And I think the last one that stands out really high, that really stands out, is LN2 or Stage 5 with 996k. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we're starting to breach these top 5 scores, reaching like this the best of the best also Mania has to offer in terms of tournament players. Really, really good scores all rounded. Definitely a team that will go far. They got everything covered. Best of luck as always. And we can move on to seat number 10. Oh, seat number 10. It's me. Well, not actually me. This is Team Leon by A9 and IC5. And these two players, really, really good Malaysian players here. And you can see by their scores. Again, just like a lot of, not a lot, just a number of teams so far getting 990k and above on literally everything. But the stage 4, the LN map,
all the seats are very balanced, except for Toho is Dead or Stage 6, which is like a tiny bit lower at 19th, but everything else is either 10th, 11th, or 12th within like 3 rankings. A very well-rounded team across all 7 stages.
Well-rounded, one of the best well-rounded team we have seen so far. But again, the score differences, the gaps between each team is just so minor going forward. Like the average score between each teams are like just few hundred, maybe even lesser than maybe just 100. Extremely tight competition. definitely another team that will go far. See how they will fare. Well, obviously bias from me. Sorry about that.
Yeah,
We can
best of
move
luck
on
to
to
Leon.
number 9.
Number 9 is going to be drumroll, Vic
Number,
team.
please.
You probably recognize this team name pretty much. I mean, this player name, not team name. Nobody recognizes team names. GEX is a very profound MWC Korean player, alongside with Pin as well. Both Koreans demolishing this map pool. What is this? Every map is now 990k or above, and only 3 maps have double-digit rankings, and they're barely double digits as well.
Yeah, these two Koreans, they're like the textbook definition of extremely push, yet being able to push out these crazy scores going forward. Like we mentioned, just all scores 990 and above, and then the Rise score, standing out just a little bit above compared to the rest here.
Yeah, 997 on Soho that is probably the spotlight for this team here, so maybe their Rise is like ever so slightly better, but it's hard to tell. But yeah, that's our C9 big team. C8 moving towards the top 8 seed. We have Cosmic Princess Kagu. Yeah, this is obviously gonna be having in the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in April here.
And April as well. Yeah.
And looking at the scores, man, I don't want to say anymore. Like, all scores going forward, it's all 990 and above for all these players. And the rankings are all over the place. You see 990 on the tiebreaker, but that's number 15. Then you see their Allens, definitely a bit, not a bit, like just a cut above the rest. Number 4 and number 3 on the Allens coming from, I'm pretty sure it's coming from the player here, definitely. He's a 7 key player, but has come back recently to push out these insane Allen scores.
Yeah, has a very well-rounded score in both 7 key and 4 key as well. So 996k on Ellen density is very strong. It's just somehow stage 1 is a little bit lower despite it being also 995k, as well as the stage 7 being a little bit lower as well, 990k, but like you said, overall every single score here is above 990. So best of luck to Cosmic Princess Kagu. Yeah. Moving on, seed 7.
Seed 7.
Getting exciting now.
Yo, we got the British team, FFRD9 team. I'm sorry for that joke, my bad. Here we have Nielsen and Zubin here. Okay, so Nielsen and Zubin, once again, all 990k and above. Like, these two players are very profound. Like, you will know them for their tournament history, extremely good consistency, and you can see that from their, like, you just look at placings. Again, Ellen and Hybrid extremely high, number 6, number 3, number 7. Their Rise is also really good, just a little bit behind the competition in terms of sharpshooting, that Rise accuracy. Again, very historic team, lots of experience, and definitely a long road for them. Definitely can reach all the way to nearing late game.
Very experienced team indeed. That's why they're rewarded with such consistent scores throughout the entire map pool. Almost 993k on every map. It's just stage 7 being just below 993k. And that's how they are rewarded with the number 7 seed. Speaking of number 7 seed, let's move on to our 6th seed, which is going to be...
Mappool, please. Super duper speed. What a name. Here we got Minwoo and Yaran here. Again, really, really great players. And here we have, like, just crazy scores. Just really crazy scores. Their Rise 1, Rise 2, just a tad bit behind compared to the rest. But that's just purely because others are able to sharpshoot better than them. And everything else, good hybrid, good overall long, and then that tiebreaker is just extremely good consistency being shown here. Really nothing else to say.
Stage 7. Very strong Stage 7 indeed there. It's going to be quite a menacing team, especially on the late game side. The early game is still very strong. It's just for some reason 996K is C10. I don't know why, but you know,
Not too good.
the two are very scary. They have the speed indeed. Let's move on.
Let's move
To
on.
C5.
Indeed.
We're entering the top seeds, man. This is scary. And
Yeah,
oh my god.
The end here. Yeah, here we go.
Look at-
Girls last tour with the man himself, Yuuki, and then paired with Hortense. Yeah, the crazy players. And here, this is gonna be a bit of a surprise. Like, people see Yuuki, they would think like, okay, top 3 easily. But unfortunately, you can see which map they choke quite a lot here. Just unfortunate choke on the LN1 here.
The stage 4 we've been talking about for quite a while. 997.8k on stage 2 is what's letting them stand out. Those seat. I think this is the first ever team that we see a seat 1 on one of the maps.
Yeah, C1 on the stage 2. And credits to Hortense as well, getting info from Yuuki. Hortense played a lot of the maps. So just crazy player alongside each other. Unfortunate choke, but still a team you definitely should still watch out for. Like you mentioned, that number 1 on stage 2, showing that late game prowess in the Rise category.
Yeah, I mean, the number 1 seed might show more and more often on the upcoming seeds though, so I don't have much things to add for seed 5, so seed 4 it is.
Yeah, C4, let's
go.
move on. We got salmon noodle. Sounds really good.
Noodle. I want to eat food right now. Anyways.
Yeah,
that stage 3 score is diabolical. There is no way.
Yeah, here we got another infamous Korean duo. I'm Yi and Nad here. Like, yeah, you can go ahead first.
Yeah, I mean, Nad and Nami are known for being MWC players as well, getting just insane scores across all the maps. Stage 1 having almost 908k with number 1. And then stage 3 is also 997k, number 1. It's for some unknown reason, 995k on stage 2 is number 12. And then 994k on stage 6 is number 14. That's probably the ever so slightly small tank that they get, that they have. But then the other ones are still doing pretty solidly.
Yeah, agree. Like, these players, they can ratio, like, absolutely sharpshoot ratio really well. So just be afraid, be worried if you unfortunately get paired up with players like this. And we will see how they will fare, because they are infamously known for being extremely physical players, being able to scale all the way to late game here. And that is all for our 4th team here. Let us drum roll for the next team, seed number 3.
Who gets the bronze medal for qualifiers? It's gonna be Anthrax and Mako Majors. Not even close.
Not even close.
Their rank rank average, because I can look up now. I'm gonna talk about their rank average as well, because if you add all these ranks up and you divide it by 7, you get around 6.29. And their average score is around 995k, and as you can see, it is just one map that's putting them down just a tiny bit, and you would have never guessed what that map would be.
Yeah, like 995k average for an entire qualifiers is like almost unheard of. It's absolutely crazy. Anthrax, Mako here, this Chilean combo, absolutely crazy. They are gonna go very far in this competition with prowess in literally every single skill set needed. Yeah, I'm just very excited to see how some of these players do. And let's move on to C2.
You notice how I said about the rank average on the seed 3 team? This team has a rank average of 2. And a little reminder that the rank average on C3 is 6.2. This one's 2. That's quite a difference. And this team has an average score of 996.8k.
Yeah,
It's 1.5k higher than C3.
absolutely
So quite a gap
crazy.
here.
Absolutely crazy. So team not even close was actually not even close to number 2, because these two teams are just, you see these top players, then you have these two remaining teams that somehow are still a cut above everyone in the world right now. And here we have Unicorn Butterfly, the infamous high duo Pavin Konkawi, who is number 2 and number 3 on OM Helen, the recently concluded OM Helen 4. So that reflects pretty well on their Ellen scores, number 1, number 2, and then 2 number 2 scores again on the hybrid and tiebreaker. Just unfortunately, their Rise 2 just lacking behind just a little bit, like very minuscule amount.
It's just insane. 995k is the lowest score, and of course it's stage 4, but still everything else is just insane. Like, how do you even do this? But this is our number 2 seed, and I think there's 2 players left that's gonna be here for seed 1, and I think if everyone knows about it, it's gonna be
It's gonna be, to no one's surprise, seed number 1 is going to be the American duo Hello Sun and Nepijin here. Like, these two really need no introductions by this point.
What's special about this though is that their rank average is 2.14. If you remember what I said about the score average being important, it's because if the system was using the rank average, this team would have been C2. Because this team has a rank average of 2.14 and the Pavin Konkawi team had 2.00. But what's different is that this team has an average score of 996,922, which is 101 higher than the C2 team. 101. That's the difference.
Yeah, that really is the difference. Again, let's just quickly skim through their scores. It's all crazy. Yeah, the lowest is a number 3 score, and that's just on the 2 Rise maps and the hybrid. Like, just absolutely crazy. The seeding using score, using average rating, like, it will change up how things are done, but still overall, with how tight the competition is, just not that much of a difference, I would say personally.
Yeah. The biggest difference is probably these top 2 seeds, I think.
Yeah, agreed. Totally.
Yeah.
But yeah,
997, 998. 997 on stage 5, I mean, you cannot be doing this, man. 996 on stage 7, like, bro. Yeah. I think it's because of stage 7 and stage 5 is why T1 got their score average advantage against Unicorn Butterfly.
Yeah.
And
pretty much.
Yeah.
With that though,
wow.
This has been a long result. So thank you for everyone for sticking by. Unfortunately, it is this long because we of course want to do our best to give each like most teams credit here. With that, you can briefly see the upcoming bracket. It will be like posted soon in the Discord server, so don't worry about that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 87 teams, the top 64 teams ever. I just want to say, just best of work to every single team that has participated in this tournament. I mean, this map pool has been extremely difficult, and you guys have done an exceptional job at just blowing our minds with your insane scores. But that's gonna be about it for the seeding results stream, and the top 64 teams are gonna be joining in the round of 64. Speaking of round of 64, this stream is not over yet. And we are going to be doing a little bit of a transition, aren't we?
Yes, we are. We have been yapping here for about 100 minutes. You may be tired of our voices, but fear not, we will be switching commentators and they will be showcasing the round of 64 map. So I'm just going to say bye real quick. This has been Leon. And this has been Poppy
And
commentating alongside me. Any last words before we switch over?
any last words? Yeah, well, best of luck. Just best of luck. This Mappool is gonna be pretty interesting as well. So take a look. Moving on to Epic Man, Adam, Yuuki, and Lott. Bye bye.
Bye.
That's right, 100 minutes of the seeding results, and I'm here to annoy everyone even more.
So
Hello?
back.
I did not expect
Oh my
you to
God.
actually. I didn't expect this Mappool showcase to actually start at 16:30 sharp. You said it as a prediction, but it somehow actually became true. What is going on?
I don't know. I somehow still have my math game intact, but
Most importantly,
yeah.
what is up, my fellow ladies and gentlemen? We are here for the Ro64 Mappool showcase of Abstraction Cup. We are abstracting the Mappool, guys.
damn, no way. I could have never guessed that. But yeah, once again, congratulations to everyone that has qualified in the tournament. These are some really insane teams that we have seen qualifying throughout this tournament, and it literally even extends to the lower seeded players. So this is probably like one of the few occasions where I can really say or feel entitled to say that the Ro64 is actually going to be a genuine bloodbath with all the early game teams and the late game teams fighting against each other depending on who has the advantage on which one. But of course, there's only really one way to discern how we can see these advantages, and that is through the Ro64 Mappool Showcase.
That's exactly right. Now, let's jump into the first map, shall we? We've been keeping everyone waiting for far too long with the qualifying results, so let's jump right into the first map, which is,
Hell
if I'm
yeah.
not wrong, Rice 1.
Yeah, this is going to be Rice 1, and basically one of my intentions with this map pool is that as one of the main directors of a lot of the intentions that I got with this tournament, I kind of want to introduce a balance of various things that I kind of noticed it doesn't really have much attention within various other tournaments. For example, not just song variety, but also map variety, and also just the maps themselves, just like kind of being less conventional as opposed to what you usually expect from them. Rice 1, this is going to be a fairly known ranked map from a few years ago, going to be Lilac Slumber by Monheim. This is basically going to be your Rice 1 speed-oriented map. This one kind of takes more influence from Dump, but kind of uses it to an advantage to make it kind of just a lot harder to act when you're trying to aim for some really precise accuracies on the early game.
Yeah, not to mention there's multiple delays coming here and there on this map, making accuracy even harder. To say the least, we just ignore the replayer because somehow he can play this. To be fair, it is Ro64, but this tournament's +1 in Mania World Cup difficulty. These kind of stuff at this early round is already insane. There's a lot of speed dump section here and there, and 116 snapping are those with a bunch of delays.
I think I can make a bit of a connection with the recent MWC speed picks because, well, for example, round of 16s, it's going down now, or I think that's quarterfinals. Round 16 was His World. Both maps by Valedict have a more unconventional approach on the non-choruses, where the patterns are less straightforward and more focused on mixed dump. And we are taking it and apply it to the entire map with this pick. It's a very fresh change of pace, which, considering the rest of the pool, is greatly appreciated. It's an early game pool after all.
Yeah, indeed. Especially with this song, this one's like definitely on the lighter side when it comes to song intensity. And I definitely feel that, like, you know, sometimes it does serve as a good breather for some players to kind of like have some playing experiences that focus more on like just having songs that kind of focus more on like authenticity. And I definitely feel that this song really provides such a market for that I definitely feel have such, you know, a strong showing within this tournament alone.
Yeah, this is also pretty lengthy if I'm not wrong. I think it's around 2 minutes. No, it's 3 minutes and 30 seconds actually. Well, we do have the training time at the beginning, but other than that, it's still pretty lengthy. And the fact that you have to keep consistent for about 2,200 plus notes already, it's gonna get even more and more as we are entering the last few bits of the map. It's gonna slowly be just about the same as we've seen from the previous section. It's just a lot more lengthier than players would imagine, especially from round 64. So most players would probably be thinking, oh, maybe on round 64 we will be having more of a around shorter 2 minutes map approximate. Nope, it's 3 minutes on some of the picks and maybe 2 minutes 30 seconds or lengthier. It's just how it is in this tournament. Everything is so abstracted, you can't tell what's real anymore.
Mostly it balances out nicely. I know the other picks are not as long, so this could be considered a consistency-based wildcard. In a conventional map pool context, I mean, this is an abstract map pool, so you get this. Hello.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially for the rice pool that we have, we definitely, I wanted to try and serve some variety up for the various players that are going to be, you know, at least looking for some challenges here and there. And that does extend into our Rice 2 as well on top of that. So moving on from Rice 1, we actually got a surprise custom from a fairly OG mapper from 10 years ago. Dude.
Yeah.
Welcome back, Books 2. From
Let's just
welcome, Books 2, bro.
His
Shout out to
first
Books 2.
His first rank map of the Lost One no Gokoku was from 2014, and since then he has been making at least 15 ranked maps with a lot of plays. And this one is quite the homage to old style mapping, although with a more modern, like jump stream, hand stream tournament approach, perhaps. Modern quote unquote.
Yeah, quote unquote, because obviously no singular pattern is gonna be normal in this tournament. And this kind of is ironic because, as Lott mentioned earlier on the Rice 1 pick, we have some shorter maps. This is the longest map in the entire pool. So
yep.
I swear the wild
really
cards are
ironic.
shorter. I swear.
I mean, subtle foreshadowing, first of all, because, I mean, can I really say it this early? They're essentially like, this is the second longest. Actually, no, third longest because we also have the tiebreaker. I forgot that exists.
Oh yeah,
sorry.
true.
Yeah.
What's the tiebreaker, man? I don't know. We'll see it at the end, maybe. It's a guest appearance, like usual.
The tiebreaker is Parallel Universe Shifter.
Yeah, man. Wow, Parallel Universe Shifter used on round of 64 on Abstraction Cap.
I believe the tiebreaker is going to be Adrian Laser's Chong Shao, the multitude of Anthurian.
No. Nah, bro. To be honest, like, I definitely seem like the type of person that just would have pulled some random Adrian Laser map in as a tiebreaker. We should put his Adrian Laser map as LN1. Imagine how cool that would be. Easy nerve pick.
Who expects folks to here? This is such a random but somehow sensible pick. Also, Jax.
Yeah.
Mixed Rice, let's go.
Yeah, but on the mention of picks 2, this is probably not gonna be the only guest appearance that some uncles may see. There may be more. I don't know.
Let us not forget those patterns. Look at those 3-1-3-1 patterns.
Yeah.
One-handed trio expanding to 6 to 7 notes.
Absolutely, but yeah, like going into more detail about this map, like when it came to Rice 2 within the early game, I definitely wanted to try and branch out and experiment a little bit with how jump stream or hand stream in the early game can really be addressed. It's not just in terms of song choice, but also like in terms of the map itself, because like, especially in the early game, you can pretty much just ball it and just like have things that are just a little more denser. That's kind of what I wanted to provide here, and I definitely feel that Puksu did a really strong job of doing this one. This map is honestly, like, I think the best map from the likes of Puksu would probably have to be their Tokyo Teddy Bear map, which was originally ranked in 2015 and also used back in MWC of semifinals 2015. So, like, that goes a long way in Mania history, and getting something similar like this in Rana 64, especially with all the teams that we got that are going to be absolute act monsters, that's basically a death sentence. Like, holy god, man.
Yeah, hearing you
mentioning
say 2015 is scary to think because we are on year 2026. That's 11 years ago.
Yep. How do you think I feel, bro? I remember 2014, like, that was the age of Go anime, but... Okay, anyways, I'm not... Okay.
No, let's go.
Whoa!
I forget
Rice
this.
tree.
Whoa!
Let's go.
Rice free,
Rice
rice
with-
free, rice free. Okay. This is, gonna be our... Usually, early game tournaments would usually have this as the core jack pick. But this time, I'm kind of changing the notch a bit and adjusting this to be a lot more technical and overall harder to act. This is going to be She Who Mars the Skin of Gods, Protest to Hero. And this is going to be a collab by Shoegazer and Valedict. So fairly known mappers, known for their appearances both in Mania and also Eternity alongside many other games. This is going to be upgraded to 1.2%.
Yeah, fun fact, originally when I was playtesting this map was actually pulled quite a while ago when I entered as playtester. I was questioning, why is it on 1.2 and maybe not 1.1? And I heard Epic Man's reasoning and went, oh, I got bamboozled. This tournament is not speed of like 3 difficulty. This is harder than that. So I got bamboozled on that. And let's just say some of the anchors on this map, especially this section, we have some doublets on left and right hand bias with extra anchors on the inner column. So it's not as bad compared to outside column, but it's still just as bad.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be mostly reliant on a lot of the burst control that you have within this. Like, the map itself, in terms of the actual pattern density and expressions, is not really that heavy. It's just more about, like, you know, it kind of accompanies the song itself, which already, by default, just incorporates a lot of unorthodox and less conventional time signature changes. For this one, being a more mathcore song from the likes of Protest the Hero from one of their OG albums from like 20 years ago as well. So, you know, you kind of get it with this section where it feels like you're going to have to play like chord jack, but the time signature keeps changing. So this can definitely throw up a bunch of players if they aren't too careful with when they are actually sight reading the song itself, because the song kind of has a lot of tricks up its sleeves. It literally just throws every Joker card that it can at you the minute that it has an opportunity.
Yeah, and I kid you not, at the later section of this map, you guys may have see it from the beginning of the map. There was some time signature where it wasn't 1/4 snap. It was actually 1/6 or 1/8 quick burst of jacks at the beginning to mess with your accuracy. It's much more profoundly seen as we enter the last quarter, if I'm not wrong. This is where you feel the jack coming in, rather than what we've seen on the previous section of the map. This is the most jack section compared to the rest.
Yeah, indeed. Just very control-oriented the whole way through. And even when there are sections where it's just so much more lighter, it just doesn't even give up with the fact that you still get jump scared by bursts here and there at like, what, 1 free snap at literally around 300 BPM or so.
Quote-unquote jack pick, because it's 150-ish BPM, so it's kind of equal to MWC Route 32 core jack. Therefore, this is the jack map.
Yeah,
so
indeed.
right. But yeah, that's the in quotation jack map. We're gonna go into the hamstring pick now, and this is from a mapper you guys would be really well known by. He has made a lot of hamstring maps. Some people may love his map, some people may hate it. But it's gonna be Biosphere. Actually, wait, no, this is not a hamstring map, is it?
Yeah. Dude,
Oh,
we
yeah, it
already
is.
paused the
This
hamstring.
guy.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, it is. This is gonna be the
Biosphere,
I
the
mean-
certified handstream mapper.
Okay, I mean, like, to be fair, there are hand streams in this map within the latter parts of the map, so you aren't entirely wrong on that, but this is going to be our technical pick for Ro64. So usually when it comes to this tournament, my main kind of vision for when it comes to majority of the map pools is that they're going to feature some fairly abrasive technical patterns that can really trip you up on your sleeves, especially like, you know, with the type of maps that you usually expect within MWC whenever they have to pull out the typical FFR reuse or anything from software, Speedlight, etc. This one is going to be a little different. This one is going to be similar to that of Paradigm, which was also used in Speedlight 3's group stage as well. Same mapper, just different song, and obviously a lot lighter. So the main challenge in this one is that this is intended to be more centric and more focused, more geared towards your raw accuracy within the early game. So these patterns are going to be super light, but it's really just about, you know, how well you can actually act a lot of these patterns when they do kind of become really hard to act in certain places.
Knowing Biosphere, I absolutely will not trust a snap being stable. Biosphere is known for sticking absolutely to the music's accuracy up to the millisecond. He may actually use 130 to 164 snaps just to match a drum's slightly off snap time. So please be very careful hitting these notes. Also, I believe that this map has a slight integration of L1. I do see a few slight coordination patterns here and there. Intentional, quote unquote, question mark.
I mean, well, yes, intentional without needing the quotation marks. That was pretty much the intention I wanted to go for with this pick in particular, because one of the mappers that are yet to be revealed for this tournament has given a suggestion about. Oh my god, watch out for this pattern.
Oh, that chill at the ending is so... That chill at the ending is so evil for those who's thinking, oh, the map's done, I can relax. No, trills! My accuracy's
Final
gone.
stage of cancer.
Yeah.
It chills. Everyone's worst enemy.
This map literally just feels like water droplet torture. Like, especially in a map pool like this where every other map is basically just on many different leagues of difficulty. And on that, we can move on to Rise 5. So that's going to take the technical entendre and kind of boost it up a little bit, just giving it the little boosted seat that it would really warrant. And going into Rise 5, this is going to be our somewhat more dump-centric pick, but at the same time, not fully dump. This is going to be Unarmed, featuring Emily Abela, Dex Olsen, mapped by Yuno Maya.
Yeah, and most people would probably know who Yunamaya is, considering that this mapper has multiple ranked maps already, so the name is not entirely foreign. If you do know Yunamaya's mapping style, this encapsulates their way of mapping, but with a little bit of spice in it, shall we? It's mostly gonna be this kind of pattern on 1/4, but we jump into the dumpy section. As we can see here, it's all unconventional snapping from what we see already, from 1/6 to 1/3. It's a lot of snapping changes.
Indeed.
I think there's like a combination of snaps. So you see some streams or trills that seems consistent, but there's one note that is off from the main snap, and it creates a small burst, which I think is the main feature of this map, being slightly disruptive in the flow. Gotta really pay attention to when you switch your fingers movement.
Yeah, and this is also going to be our, if I'm not wrong, should be our shortest Vice pick out of everything.
Yeah, you're correct on that. Yeah. This is only like 1 minute and 47 seconds long. Oh wait, 48. One off. You can see it on the see it on the bottom left. Yeah. But yeah, this one's like pretty much the filler pick that we got to kind of tie things all together in this Rice Pool, so that, you know, it's not entirely egregiously long for all the players that just barely have much time. They're clicking on their watches like Mr. Bean in that one scene. But yeah, that is going to do it for this one. Arguably the easiest map out of everything in terms of how hard it is to actually act. Which is, this definitely goes distances, I want to say.
36, 300. Okay.
Okay, Zed Curry.
Thank you, Zakuri. Love
No,
you,
no,
bro.
sorry. Not Zed Curry. Curry, I mean. Thank you, Curry,
Curry.
for the amazing
Thanks,
36
Curry.
perfect replay.
This is the
But
kind of Or
Yeah.
that the top 20 teams will be getting, by the way.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. Welcome to Abstraction Cup, guys. But that said, we can move on to our next pick, which is going to be Ro64. So this one's going to be a bit of a paradigm shift from every other map in the Rice category, and a bit of a really funny one as well. This kind of takes the dump tech aspect of unarmed, as we've seen earlier, but pushes it up to 100. This basically introduces a lot more less conventional dump patterns that are kind of jump stream oriented at first, but then you realize that this is actually so much harder to actually keep intact with, considering how the expression really works in this map from the likes of mappers such as Michi, for example. Oh yeah, another thing.
Introductory star.
Yeah, literally entry-level Ska. Another thing I want to mention real quickly is that this is the wild card pick of this round. So they are essentially they're essentially mixed rice picks, but they are slightly harder than the rest of the map pool. As you can see here.
This anchor
Oh my god.
is evil.
This
This anchor is so evil. How many notes is that? It's so
like
long for no reason.
That's like
I bet
it's
30.
between 30 and 40 or something.
I bet 30.
It's a lot. It's a lot for this kind of map. Even at this section, we're still seeing anchors being thrown left and right. Obviously not as bad as the one we just saw. It's still bad enough to the point that you can just choke up if you do not have the proper finger control to switch between dumpy playstyle to, I guess, jacks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Oh,
here
one
we go.
more.
Not again.
I would-
Here we go again.
I feel
Here we
less
go again.
about and more just transitioning because you lose track of when to stop and you could miss. Or I guess lose track of the tempo and over click. I don't know. So many risks.
Yeah. I feel like for me personally, like I guess people are just gonna like fight me for this, like throw their tomatoes at me on the stage, but I felt like this type of pick was like slightly warranted for Ro64, just so we can have like, you know, some picks that are basically you have to plan around them more strategically, and I definitely feel that a map like this definitely can serve that job for, you know, if it's like, you know, somewhat band bait, but there's also like, you know, the one pattern that you need to watch for, which are basically
Yeah,
like,
this one.
yeah,
This is
yeah,
the
exactly.
pattern.
There's literally like multiple ways we could just like coin this term. It's either the Ganju Gok patterns or Mania spinners. That's literally what this pattern feels like in the map, unironically.
Yeah, but most of the map in Ro64 is already a band bait on purpose because obviously we do not want these powerhouse team, Nepigeon, to just dominate on every single map. So we had to make a failsafe that even the likes of Nepigeon, Pavin, Konkawa, Dev, all those players will find a reason to choke. And we have the Ganju Grok pattern to have as a failsafe.
Bro, I'd imagine that like anytime this map gets played in Ro64, this is gonna be like the most nerve-wracking moment for every player on the board if they somehow just have the consistency. Like, it's just insane. This map's just really funny, but that said, that does conclude our Rice categories. So I think it's safe to say that we can move on. And this time, we're going to be introducing a bit of a fairly known tournament pick from probably one of my favorite tournaments ever played, so to speak. So moving on to Hybrid 1, this is not going to be as much of a stream hybrid. This is going to be a more technical hybrid one, but it's also somewhat Rice Spice. This is going to be Don't Worry, Virtual Riot, mapped by Alex Dunk. So this is going to be a map originating from 4-Digit Mania Cup World Cup's 2023 iteration in the semifinals bracket. I remember the one time I had to face Hong Kong on this map. I was genuinely so close to dying on that, and I definitely feel like this map is so nostalgic for me that I just do not know how people have just not reused this map. Like, it's genuinely so generational.
You could say that you should be worried.
Yeah, despite this being a reuse map, it still holds up to its difficulty's name. I mean, sure, 4-Digit Mania World Cup 3rd edition, that's like, what, 4 years ago? Oh god, it's 4 years ago. But still,
3 years ago, bro. 3
I mean,
years ago.
it's close enough. It's only a one number off. How bad can it be? But
I mean,
despite the year gap, it still holds up to its difficulty for it to be reused in tournaments such as Abstraction Cup here, where everything is basically funny. As we can see the anchor earlier, players are gonna love hitting that.
oh, of course.
The
Quote
double
unquote generic
notes.
pack, by the
Yeah.
way.
The what's it called? The double notes into the long note. Well, let's call it Abstraction shield in this tournament case. It's questionable to hit. It's really tough to hit it properly, especially this part as well, to act properly with a lot of schlongs coming in.
Yeah, this part is hella fun, honestly. Just the fact that, like, you know, you have a lot of this color-based sound design going on in the background, and you just have, like, a lot of these really wavy LN dumps going on in the background. I feel it really just, like, is encapsulated really well within this map alone, and that's kind of, like, you know, something I wanted to bring onto the market of this tournament, to be able to at least try and have, like, advocate for some maps that are, like, not inherently, like, you know, following the same convention that most tournaments would usually be expected to, but also to, like, try and introduce, like, some picks that perhaps many players, like in the olden days especially, have just missed. And this is a map once again that I haven't seen in many places since 4DM. So this is a pick I wanted to revive in particular, and I'm really happy that, you know, we got the opportunity to be able to bring this one.
If I'm not wrong, this is one of the lengthier maps again. It's, yet again, 3 minutes. Trust me, we do not have 3 minutes pool at all. This is just on a whim. I mean, to be fair, on tournaments such as Abstraction Cup, even on Ro64, there's bound to be tons of map that's 3 minutes or longer than the expected length range that most tournament is. For example, on Osamania Long Note Tournament, the recent tournament that happened on this specific Twitch channel, most of the map in Round of 64 was about 2 minutes to 30 minutes-ish, which makes sense because that's supposed to be the designated difficulty. But for this tournament specifically, it's really rough to gauge the proper timing of length per map on a tournament such as this, which has a lot of questionable patterns that comes in here and there, so it's really hard to balance out the proper length signature.
I think if all maps are slightly longer than average, then nothing is really a band bait, so we should be fine. I mean, there's not a lot of maps anyways. It's early game.
Indeed, yeah. Well, this is, yeah, for this map in particular, I definitely had imagined that this would be some kind of pick that teams can use really well strategically as some kind of, like, pass or buy pick if they're on the fence and they really need to try and, like, get some points down on, you know, something that introduces some LN jump scares here and there, what, like, this map does. And we could use this one to go into Hybrid 2 as well. So this one is also going to be somewhat similar, but on top of that, it's going to be slower, but more discomforting and abrasive. So moving on to Hybrid 2, this is going to be following the same steps as Don't Worry. This is going to be Insane Anime Obsessed Boyfriend, Zave, mapped by The Funk.
Weird music, let's go. I love gay people music.
Don't we all, bro? I mean,
I'm so gay.
Mate,
know that.
Pride Month is literally, bro, we're literally like less than like 20 days away from Pride Month, so, you know, we may as well.
Yeah, this map unfortunately was chosen too early for Pride Month, man.
Indeed, yeah. This is a fairly, like, classic map from, like, a few years ago, and I think one thing to note about this one is that it kind of goes against like various conventions that would be expected with most of returns, considering for the fact that this kind of does have some really abrasive patterns here and there. A lot of the anchors in here that are kind of implicated but also somewhat hidden, unless you really squint your eyes in the editor. This type of pick really is something that I think can be used strategically. This is like a lot shorter in the contrary than Hybrid 1, but it packs as much as a punch when it comes to, you know, at least trying to be somewhat more balanced, especially in LN difficulty, as we're going to see in this map as well. As I guess some players in the chat may be somewhat familiar with this one in particular, which surprises me, so to say the least.
I mean, to be fair, this is mapped by the Funk, who's already made quite a big name for himself, being one of the mappers for Ultimania Long Note Tournament, and has been in lots of graphic designing teams, especially made in World Cup itself. So it comes to me as not too big of a surprise that some people may know of some of his most obscure maps, like this one. We are having a more long note centric section here. If I'm not wrong, this is more on the 50-50 balance between long notes and Rise. The one we saw earlier was mostly on the most uncomfortable things you will play in Rise. So this is more on a balancing switch between Rise and long note.
Maybe if Hybrid 1 is Rise bias and Hybrid 3 is a bit more LN bias, then this is probably this map avoided its fate of being banned because people would rather ban Hybrid 1 or Hybrid 3. All of them are like tech fest anyways. Speaking of tech fest, let's move on to Hybrid 3, which is going to be the peak of hybrid technicality of the Mappool, accustomed by Mysterion of QB's thesis speed.
It seems like Zed Curry is calling for help with that replay name.
Bro's drowning. We need to pull him up we need to hoist him back up from the seas once again. But as we all know, this is going to be our tech hybrid. So this is going to be accustomed by Mysterion once again. And thank you so much for joining us on this journey. And this one's going to be a bit of an interesting change of pace from the Mappool as well. Not only do we have a bit of a more chillax, like lenient song in the hybrid pool, but this is also the fastest arguably that we have out of all the other hybrids that we are dealt with here. So this one kind of pushes the entendre of technical hybrids and kind of takes it to being lighter when it comes to the actual technicality. And it's just really about the control and speed that makes this a lot difficult, I'd say.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, with Hybrid 1 being the Rise-oriented hybrid and Hybrid 2 being the balance, we're already seeing through that first 1/3 section, the first third of the map, we are seeing a lot more long notes compared to the rest of the map. I mean, it's expected because Mysterion, he has mapped a lot of maps, and most people acquaint him with the long note mapper in Mania World Cup scenes, since he's one of the key mappers in Mania World Cup. And he has joined us in Abstraction Cup as well, as we see shields coming up as we go into the second half. These shields are pretty rough to hit on this BPM. Like Epic Man said, it's the fastest pick out of the 3 hybrid. So hitting the shields appropriately while not suffering in losing accuracy is gonna be hard, especially with the differences in long note snapping we have here.
The 132 races in question. To cheese or not to cheese?
I mean, to be fair, like, especially in the early game, I definitely felt that, like, it is pretty much a really common habit that many players are pretty much looking to try and cheese a variety of the picks, which is why I kind of wanted to break some rules on purpose just to be able to create the pool that this is turning out to be so far with, you know, not just the map variety, but also, like, kind of some decisions that are made. For example, like, it's pointed out that these hybrids are all somewhat technical to some degree. This is on purpose because, especially in the early game, I feel that sometimes it is a little harder to be able to try and provide like some maps that can be strategically interesting and more challenging for all the teams like in question, which is why I decided to try and change this identity within our hybrids for this round. And we can probably see a bit of it throughout the latter pools. It just really depends on the contrast, really. But that is going to do it for Hybrid 3 once again. It's safe to say that we can continue on with our maps. And once again, thank you so much to Mysterian for this custom. Insane job and really good song choice. Love this stuff, bro.
But yeah, this transitions really well to our next section. All of the hybrids gone, the hybrid long node oriented is gone, and we are jumping right into the long node picks now, shall we? The first one being long node 1, and some people may know this map. This is also a pretty well-known mapper itself, so let's go into it.
Lott can definitely vouch for that. So LN1, this is going to be our more coordination-centric pick. So this is going to be Dear My Memories, Kuro, mapped by Eclipse. This is a custom from the Polish Nationals in semifinals for one iteration. So I decided to kind of throw this one in as kind of a buffer pick to kind of provide for some more intricate maps that can really try and tackle some of those that may not be as well versed within LN. However, it is literally hard to even say that because literally everyone going into this round is going to be really well versed in coordination as well.
I don't know how to say about that. From the qualifier score I just saw, some powerhouse team is really insane.
Well,
but please,
yeah.
play long nodes. Do not sleep on long nodes. It's a good skill set. But like how usually long node 1 should be, this is going to be the release-oriented long node, but with a twist. It's much more inversy than you would think compared to other maps. As we can see, the inverse section we are saying here coming right up, which requires tremendous finger control. If you do not have that, you're bound to get a lot of choke points here and there.
Yeah, can I explain a bit about this pick? Okay, let's mention the patterning of it. This one is pretty coordination heavy, and the rhythm switch up can maybe trip your muscle memory up a bit. Considering the rest of the map so far has been more broken string oriented and we're switching to a wally kind of pace now, which I think will be kept up in the second chorus. So to explain, the Polish Nationals separate LN coordination and LN release. So this is the LN coordination map in their map pool. So there's a lot less staggered releases, but the coordination aspect is very evident from the inverse C gameplay. And here we go, the LN chord. This kind of foreshadows the LN walls pick in the next round.
Oh yeah, of course. Oh yeah, I wonder as well. I think that like one thing that I want to note for when it comes to this tournament's map pools is that this map is fairly wildcardy when it comes to how it really deals or at least tries and interprets the ideology of coordination in particular. This one kind of features some elements of density here and there and basically turns that up to quite a bit of a margin that really can be hard to act. And I did that on purpose because I think that for coordination, there are multiple ways that it can really be introduced within map pools, and especially as you would have seen in the qualifiers with Pasaraj's nuclear bomb of an LN coordination qualifier. I definitely feel like that is going to be some type of map that we can be expecting for the latter rounds, but this one's obviously going to keep it easy for now. We're not going to like throw bombs right in the orphanage right this instant, but we can move on to LM2. So this is going to be our more density-focused map as well. Going to be somewhat similar to this map, albeit lighter, but fairly more intricate as well. This is going to be LM2. This is going to be another regular pick from the likes of a fairly known mapper. It's going to be Ballistics Pascal Beats Cut version by Inabakamori.
Yeah, we already know that the song's good. It's by Inabakamori, a really popular producer who has made stuff like Lag Train, Lost Umbrella. Those two are the most popular ones, obviously. But when I was playtesting this, it took me over 10 attempts to properly get a feel of the density pick because it was so broken, just like a Meek League map, that I just don't know when to release properly or hit properly. So it took me a extra long time to get this down the bag. obviously, this is played by Zed Curry because he's just an alien and carrying the replays on basically almost every single pick. It's always been his replay because thank you, Zed Curry. Sorry that you're not being paid, but thanks for the effort.
Oh my god. No one's being paid here, don't worry, we are all enslaved. Anyways, don't take my word for this. I think this was an NWC reject from 2024 for being too easy.
Oh,
Don't
is it
take my
now?
word. Don't take my word. I
easy.
vaguely remember that from a snapshot of the pooling sheet when I was like somewhere, I don't know, but it was a reject.
I mean, to be fair, like, it's been ages since I even played in that MWC iteration because that was the only one that I ended up playing, and we literally died because SVs, like, I don't know, I literally had to, like, carry the likes of Eliminate and Newson when it came to the SVs or something. Because, I don't know, there was points where Miniac couldn't even save a cyber, but that said, like, this map is, like, pretty much straightforward when it comes to its density. It's just mostly broken up, which is definitely a bit of shift. It definitely makes a difference when you at least compare it to various other LN density maps that you would usually expect in the early games of MWC, for example. Or at least, like, you know, whenever we have to have the typical U-East-esque LN density at 180 BPM, this one kind of makes it a little more difficult by being slightly more on the nose about its more dense patterning.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think the gameplay is very snappy. Ballistic has a very specific way to like include the movement of the players when he makes LNs. I can also see it in Meloid, which is a recently ranked LN map from him. It's 4.7 stars, which is not something he makes often. He rarely makes hard maps, but whatever he does, it's always a banger. The gameplay is so snappy. It just makes sense. It feels right.
Yeah, speaking of snappy, I think this is a really good way to transition into our next pick, shall we? This is the most infamous song you will know, and I wonder why.
I'm just gonna let Lott speak for himself on this one. This one needs no introduction, almost.
What I shall say is also what the akad I never did cheated the os. Wala nga ako alam na cheating ko
no. Bro,
okay, let's switch the map while I read the rest of the copy pasta. I never thought that
track.
You adding fake fuels to add more flames and things like that. You are very disgusting, Arcad.
Oh my
god. Let's run it back, shall we? This is
running it back, bro.
You are very disgusting, Arcad.
Let's just say Polyrhythm on Ro64 is not in our bucket list. This is actually not the original intended song. It was something else by the same person who made Polyrhythm, Phonon. And Lott, the mapper, he's here. He decided, screw it, we'll just use Polyrhythm instead. So we have Polyrhythm in Abstraction Cup now, in long note form, and I playtested this as well. Lost the mapper, of course you can say more, but I'll give my input. I hate you for making these snappings.
I don't care.
That's literally the type of mentality some mappers have out there. It's just like, bro, of all the songs you could have just like chosen for a more coordination-centric map, it just ends up having to be on this one. And originally this was going to be LN1 as well, because originally there was other plans that I had for LN3, but we decided to move that to another round just so we can create some space for this showcase in particular. So like, this map being LN3 in this round in particular is going to be the funniest thing. On top of how this is like also the longest LN map that we have on board as well.
Yeah, this thing is going to be bad. Bye, guys.
Yeah, speaking of longest, this was, if I'm not wrong, is this the cut version? Because if I'm not wrong, we were contemplating on whether or not we should cut Polyrhythm because the song length is too long. We were contemplating that because on the Rice Pick, we have multiple 3-minute songs already. there was a debate going on for a tiny bit because if it's the cut version, it just doesn't feel like party rhythm anymore. And that was the issue, whether or not we should cut it or not.
I mean, at least we reached a conclusion that everyone agrees on. Especially for balance reasons, I think it's fine for this Ellen map to be the longest one, just because, well, I mean, everyone and their moms literally knows this song just because of how to play Ellen's SV map from years ago, which is literally what popularized this song in Mania to begin with back in, what, 2021? Like, or at least, like, you know, after the time Mosdep literally crapped himself hearing this song, like, on set for the first time in, like, peak COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
This section is evil, just saying. Lott. These snappings is one of the more filthier sections I had to play on when playtesting. Everyone and their mom.
Look at my face. Do it look like I give
I'm
a...
looking.
Do it look like I give a...
Bro.
These shoes as well is really tough to ratio properly. I, for one, didn't properly play it correctly due to the off-snapping nature of it. And as we are entering the end of the section, at the end of this map, sorry, we see more of the copy and pasted pattern we see earlier from the first drop coming back here. And it's pretty straightforward if you can play and release the shields and short long notes that appear a lot properly, especially the column 1 and column 4 off-snapping releases they have. Oh, here we go. Hold on. It's
Jump
not
scare,
over
jump
yet.
scare.
Let him
Oh,
cook.
jump scare. Let him cook. But yeah,
That's also the preview
you're very
point, by the way.
disgusting. Oh yeah,
Okay,
that's the preview point.
It's literally just the car honk at the end, bro. Oh my days.
Slight backstory. There's a conversion because, well, Epic Man said initially there's a different LN3. This was meant to be an LN1, so you can see I didn't like make the snaps very complicated. They're still fairly comprehensible, but the original LN3 has been moved up by 1 round for something else. And now that this is the LN3 and the LN1 is now a 2-minute map, this can be shown in its full glory. 3 minutes and 47 seconds.
We love polyrhythm. Both
You are
versions.
very
This
We
disgusting,
one,
always did.
Arcat.
the copy
This
pasta.
one's for you, Arcat, bro. Literal
Yeah.
goat. But anyways, yeah, this is going to... Next up, we have our tiebreaker finally, after all this time. This is going to be a Freeman collab, actually. So this is going to be a custom. And on this one, we got 3 mappers. Rule Blazing, Alexire, and also Epic Man 2. Myself, for literally just 1 part. And that's it.
I think you can probably speak on this more than both me and Lott. Epic Man, considering how, in my opinion, scuffed it was.
I mean, this song was honestly like something that I really wanted to map for tournaments in like ages. I remember like years ago, like when I mapped for my very second tournament ever, Mappool K2. No, Mappool K2. That was like mid 2023 or something. I wanted to map this song as a tiebreaker for like the mid-late game or something, and like I literally like didn't end up doing it in the end. So I decided, because this is like my first ever tournament hosting, and I get to have like all the control I want over the Mappool, I thought, why not maybe get some mappers that I know that can really cook so hard on this, and just get them to do it for the round 64 tiebreaker to really add on to the song variety flair that I literally wanted to push for this tournament to begin with. That is literally the existence of the Amateur Arsonist Handbook in this Mappool alone.
But yeah, anyway, let me add a quick backstory on how this tiebreaker was made. This was actually pretty last minute on completion, because there was quite a lot of stuff to for us playtesters and Epic Man as well to finalize on a lot of stuff. This is also one of them, and if I'm not wrong, this was finished just a few hours prior to the showcase. About was it 12 hours before the showcase or something? It was on the same day, if I'm not wrong.
I think it's
more than 12. It was like It was like half a day, more than 12, but it's like 18 hours, I want to say. Yeah.
I think the story is that one of the mappers is very busy. Well, everyone has a job, but like,
Hey, you can't say that word. You can't say that word on stream.
No,
you gotta censor it.
Nah, bro, nah.
Look like I care. Look at my face.
You can't say that. You can't say the J
Bro,
word on stream, dude.
mate,
You're gonna
your
get
face is-
demonetized.
Sir, your face is literally just a tree. How am I meant to see it?
Haha, screw you.
Alright,
Mapper mindset.
sure. Mapper mindset. We love to see it.
Yup. So as
Yeah,
far
anyways,
as I know,
yeah.
one of the mappers were fairly busy and finished their parts pretty late. But well, at least the collab is done. The issue is the other mapper has 5 seconds of unfinished mapping, and the mapper I originally mentioned mapped a few easy parts, so Epic Man 2 joined in to buff all of the parts and also mapped the unfinished section. So it went from a 2-way to a 3-way collab, just like that.
Yeah, pretty much. I think, like, for this tiebreaker in particular, I kind of felt that, especially with the rest of the map pool being fairly technical, I kind of wanted to introduce something that is going to be still fairly experimental song choice-wise, but also still gets the job across, or at least the point across, where this one is kind of more, like, reflective of what you'd usually expect in hybrid ones or something. So, like, for this one example, in this part, the guitar solo, I'm the one that mapped this. And also for various of the other parts, Roleblazing took the charges of some of the lighter sections, like the verses and so on, anything else of the like. And then Alexar is the one that also kind of decided to, and yeah, Alexar is also the one that basically pushed the choruses and pre-choruses to be fairly more dump rice oriented, which explains the density.
Yeah, not only that, from that section alone, we see, in my opinion, I'm still, how do I say it? A word that I forgot. But I'm just shocked that these kind of difficulties in map is on round of 64.
Literally.
This is a wild introductory tiebreaker, but it fits a lot. It's still introductory. The BPM is appropriate for more conventional streamy patterns, but the vocal dump is still there. What just happened, dear Mr. Zikuri?
The rice got to him. The rice
and
got
one
to
of the
bro.
long note.
Thank you,
He come full
Alexar.
combo.
That's insane.
Yeah. It allows L density, rice dump, some L dump from the guitar, and a few improv jacks as well. But overall, it's a very flowy and freeform map. So it strikes a happy balance between abstraction and introductory.
Yep. This being the first introductory tiebreaker we have for round of 64, I find it very, very fitting because we have a lot more coming up with the future showcases on the map pool as well.
Oh yeah.
Let's just say it's gonna be a ride to be with us for the entirety of the tournament. This is not gonna be your only time seeing this kind of tiebreaker. It's not gonna be your only time seeing these kind of map pool pass qualified to have these kinds of messed up patterns regarding tech burst in a jump stream map for some reason. Long note that should not be in place is going to be like this the entire way. And not only that, currently we are at Mania World Cup +1. This is from Epic Man's own mouth and word. We are at Mania World Cup +1, but after semifinals, we're jumping right up into +2.
Yeah, because every team's way too good.
This
Yeah,
is
we gotta
your
buff the
fault
pool.
for registering your two goated players.
Yeah, it should have been +3, man.
Yeah.
How could you?
No,
Exactly.
because like no, +3 is like no, bro. If I
Dear
did +3
Muka.
this early, I would literally destroy. No, bro, we are not pulling Dear Muka, bro. We are not putting our grands, bro. I swear to God, that's like the most Saragi map of all time. I swear. I don't know. And bro's literally a
MWC from the
mid-seed in this tournament as
37
well. Like,
podcast.
bro, what even
Hey, it's
is
an honorable
this?
mention, bro. Honorable feature to the
Oh,
tournament. We have Yuuki playing
exactly.
and Yuuki in the pool. Just
Yeah,
like both.
exactly. Pretty much, but but yeah, that is going to do it for our round 64 showcase and also the seeding results as well. So once again, big note, special thanks to everyone that has been helping out with this tournament so far, and also the attention that we've gotten for this tournament as well as a whole, because we're literally not even that far in, but this is literally looking to be probably one of the most competitive tournaments that I've seen in a long time. And not just because of the format as well, but all the players that have literally been joining, because we have so much in store for everyone to start playing. But that said, yeah, we will be sending out the statistics for the qualifiers soon, if you want to be able to look at that. And we will also publicize the matchups for round 64 as well, on top of the challenge as well. So now that everyone has qualified and everyone knows that they're playing in the tournament, we will be seeing these matches happen next week. A lot of blood is to be spilled on the hands of many, and there are so many teams that have yet to see the light of day of round of 32 as well. So once again, I've been Epic Man 2, joined along by Lott and Adam Ackerville for this showcase, and hopefully we will catch you all for the round 64 weekend next weekend in 5 days. Yeah.
Well,
But
to
yeah.
the teams that did not qualify, I give you my condolences. You are also like the I'm such a failure. Haha.
Hey,
Yeah.
take this as a win, because this tournament is really tough. Even from me,
Yeah.
who's played in a lot of tournaments, this is definitely one of the more tougher ones. And yet again, thank you to the viewers who has stuck up to the especially this week, because it's definitely the lengthiest week we will ever have, except for maybe the grand finals matchup that will happen due to qualifier result and showcase. This has been a really long stream from both us, the commentators and viewers, and not to mention our amazing streamer, Rush, being our streamer here, sitting with us for 3 hours in the call.
2
So
minutes
thank
and
you
40
for
seconds.
doing all of that.
Like 2 hours and 40 minutes of stream.
Yeah.
20
Yeah,
minutes of
it's
like
it's a long
preparation. A bit of that
Yeah, real
also
long
goes to
time.
troubleshooting. The qualifiers reads the whole method in question.
Oh my days, bro. That was my fault. I'm sorry about that, but that's been cleared off. I'm going to the most we can do is just move on from that. But
Shit
yeah,
happens.
yeah, I know. But that said, yeah, thank you all for coming, and also for those playing in the tournament, do feel free to send in feedback for this map pool as well. I'm still trying to learn as I go along, and any help is heavily appreciated, especially from the qualifiers as we've seen so far, because that one was pretty much around the block. But yeah, that said, that does it for me, and that is gonna do it for everyone else, I'm assuming. So yeah, I'll catch y'all later.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Goodbye,
today.
guys.
We will catch you guys next week, aka this week. Goodbye, everybody.
Best of luck. You're gonna need it, bro.
I sleep.